Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. So I'm going to show you guys the most gross, disgusting, vile food I've ever heard of. So if you think this picture is a little bit disturbing, well, to me, it's appetizing compared to what I'm about to show you. Okay, so I'm going to tell you all about this recipe. Well, if you guys don't know what this is pig intestines. The actual name of it is chitterlings, but the people who eat these, they call them chitlins. So you might have heard of these, you might not, but I'm going to tell you my personal experience with this. So if you guys don't know, okay, so this is pig intestines, and they're mainly cooked usually by African Americans around the holidays. It's a lot of work to make this recipe, a lot of work. So that's why it's typically only made like around the holidays. And I'm going to get into the whole recipe, I'm going to get into it all, but I'm going to tell you my first experience, how I even came to know what this is. So a long time ago, years back, I gave my coworkers, one of my coworkers, a ride home. So she had to stop in to her aunt's house for whatever reason before I took her home. She said, "This is going to be a minute. Come in with me." It was around Thanksgiving time, actually. And I walk into the house, and there was the most disturbing, vile smell I've ever smelled in my whole life. It's not even something that I've ever smelled. It's like, I can't even begin to tell you. It's just that bad. It's a smell I've only smelled that one time, and it still lingers with me. I can remember the smell, if that makes any sense. And they were actually cooking these pig intestines in a big pot of boiling water. And so my coworker goes over to the pot. Yes, she was black. Goes over to the pot and starts eating them out of the pot. They were still cooking on the stove. And the aunt would say, "No, I just put them in. They're not even done. Don't eat those." And she's like, "I don't care." And she was eating these uncooked pig intestines out of the pot. And I still could not comprehend that the smell was coming from the pot. I was not putting two and two together. I did not know what it was. The smell was so bad that I was in the house for maybe 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, and the smell got into my clothes and my hair, and I went home and I smelled like this. So let me show you how they prepare this food.
Video, I'm going to show you how to make some really good chitlins. I haven't made these in years, and this was the most popular request for the holidays. So let's get right into that recipe. So the first thing I want you to know, I buy my chitlins pre-cleaned. However, just because this is something you need to keep in mind, just because they are pre-cleaned, that does not mean that they do not still stink. Now, if you are not familiar with chitlins or chitterlings are pig intestines. Yes, so you need to make sure they are very clean. So your first step you're going to do, you're going to put them in the sink or a nice large container, fill it with water, cool water, and I'm actually going to put some potatoes in there. I'm not going to peel them. And
okay, so the reason why she's putting potatoes in there, and they also put potatoes in the pot while they're cooking, it's supposedly to absorb the smell. So if you guys want to search these videos, you can watch it. But if you think about it, now think about this. This is why it is so vile, unclean, ungodly, disgusting, and vile to eat this. It's because these intestines carried pig waste for years and years and years. That disease, that smell is embedded in these intestines, and it can never be removed. No matter what you do, no matter how well you clean these, you're cooking them, you're boiling them for hours. The smell is still there. Where's the smell coming from? If they're clean, there shouldn't be a smell, right? Because the pig waste is embedded in intestines. It's an ungodly food. You're not meant to eat this. Now, I'm going to tell you where this recipe originated. Okay, so back 400 years ago, there was a reason why black people had to eat these. So they were forced to eat them. It was that or nothing. So, the slave masters would, cook the edible, clean parts of the animal, for themselves, for the family, and they would give the most vile parts of the animal to the slaves. Like this post says, have you ever been into an inner city grocery store and you saw things like pigtails, chicken feet? That is because these recipes have been passed down from generation to generation, going back to slave days. There's no reason why any clean, sane person would choose to eat these vile parts of the animal. And now I'm going to show you something else that you probably won't believe. The next recipe I'm going to show you guys is also from about 400 years ago, back in the times of slavery. So this is hog head cheese. So what she's going to do is she has this hog head. Where do you get a hog head? I don't even comprehend that. Anyway, so she's cutting the eyes out of the hog head. And again, this is a recipe, like I said, back from slavery times, when they would give the scraps and the bones and the most disgusting parts of the animal that no human should eat and give it to slaves. So she's cutting the eyes out. She's going to put the head in a boiling pot to get whatever little bit of meat off it that she can. Then she's going to take all of that scrappy meat from the head and she's going to mix it with a box of gelatin, like unflavored gelatin. So she's going to mix the meat and the gelatin together, let it set, and then she's going to eat it.
Well, you ate hog head cheese before. You just probably ain't know it come from the head of the hog.
I bought Chitlins. I know why.
Ooh, can it have out? Oh, the juice have out.
That's it.
Complete eyeballs out, guys. See, I don't know. All right, you guys, we're gonna wash this head. Check him out over here. What he got on here? His tongue. Gotta make sure he ain't got no brains. Don't worry about it, because we're gonna pick those out. Of course, I have to put a little accents. Just make sure it's chopped up. Very good. Now, what I'm gonna do, you guys, sit this over here, hold the stuff off. Let's see what we got.
Okay, so now she's adding the gelatin, or the gelatin.
Water. Wait, hold on. Let's see. Sprinkle gelatin bowl, add 1/2 cup of water to the gelatin, please. Now do I supposed to add all of these? This is, I don't know, but, so, let's say 1 egg. Let's just say, it's 4 envelopes. So since we say add 1, we're going to make sure, we're going to add 2. Hey, well, it's good. It really is. Look like you know how you eat. It's good. Grind the meat up.
So this is why black people over-season and over-salt their food. Do you know what's a thing that black people think that white people don't season our food? Just Google it. Google, why don't white people season their food? So I first found that out by just looking at general recipes and looking at the comments. I was thinking, why? How can they not think that white people, that we don't season our food? I mean, all of the best chefs in the world are white. Most people nowadays learn how to cook from like Food Network and things like that. But this is why. Their food had to be so over-seasoned and over-salted just to be edible. So for us, we add seasoning to enhance our food, right? They had no food. They had vile animal scraps. They had to add so much seasoning to make this even edible. That's what I'm guessing. So black people have the highest epidemic of high blood pressure. And this is why. So if you are used to highly salted, highly seasoned food, and you taste somebody that makes a recipe correctly, to you, that's not going to taste, like what you're used to. But I totally understand that. But it's very, very unhealthy, very unclean, very nasty. There's no reason in this day and age that people have to eat like this. It's just it's a sad situation because it's very unhealthy. It's deadly. It's toxic. So if you guys can think of any foods more gross and vile than this, let me know. Leave me a comment down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.